Mandy Pryor, and welcome to the Southwestern PA Business Podcast through the Southwest Regional Chamber of Commerce. We are here with Melissa, and we're going to talk I do, I did, I'm done divorce coaching. All right, so let's turn this over to Melissa, see what she has to talk about in this very, very interesting topic here today.
Hi, Mandy.
Hi, Melissa.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm glad that you are witnessing the pink glasses.
You look very attractive.
Thank you. I don't feel that way. I'm still, it's more the lights here, but
Yeah.
their neurologist prescribed F140 pink glasses.
I think it's a new fashion statement.
It is. I'm very Elton John.
You
as
are.
I said last podcast.
Yes.
Like, this is a look.
I like it.
Just for the podcast now. Everything else, I'm starting to be able to take them off, so hopefully it goes away. If not, this is me. This is going to be my new
And
theme.
we love you.
Yeah, so finally have you on the program here today.
I've been asking for a very long time.
A very long time, and we'll talk a little bit about why there was a delay there.
Right, correct.
Yeah, so let's start. Why did you get into this career? Tell us a little bit about it. It's a new concept.
So I was married for 20 years, and the person I was married to is a police officer. So the divorce process, needless to say, was not an easy one. There was a lot of twists and turns, a lot of fighting, and 4 years later and $60,000 after and counting, it just became such, like I wasn't sure where to turn to, I wasn't sure where to go, I wasn't sure who I could trust. And I had to then look at an attorney and pay an attorney a lot of money to help me navigate this. And after I got done with all of this, I thought, is there not somebody to help me go through this, or is this it? And I literally thought I came up with this concept of being a service coordinator, more or less, for people going through divorce. And then I found out that I could go back to school for it. I'm certified in it. We are recognized by the Bar Association, and we don't even like the word divorce coaching because we are a conflict resolution specialist, really, is what we do. We just help people navigate divorce better.
There's not conflict in divorce.
Well, some divorces there are. Mine was very high conflict, and the sad part about it is people going into divorces think it's going to be not easy, but think it's not going to be, there's not going to be a lot of turmoil, a lot of arguments, a lot of fighting. But the minute you put money on the table, all of a sudden, the claws come out, and it becomes very high conflict for a lot of people.
Yes, and that's not to say that there's not amicable divorces out there.
No, I love the people who can be
Which is amazing,
amicable.
by the way, for those who are able to complete those.
Yes.
I don't know many of them.
No, even the clients that I have a few, but I knew them beforehand. They were, very great to each other during the marriage. They just decided to split, and there wasn't a lot of the conflict involved. They still co-parent very well. Some people cannot co-parent after. Some people cannot, they lose friends, they lose family, they lose extended family, and you don't realize all of these things you're going to go through. So I am here to help explain to people in real terms. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This is not going to be pretty. I rather prepare you for the worst and hope for the best, because in reality, this is what's happening now.
It's what's happening.
Yeah.
You're going to go through it one way or
You're gonna
another.
go through it. Yeah.
And so are you like the first step in the process? Are you the middleman in the process? Like, what is your role when navigating these divorces with people?
So I always say, do not contact a lawyer. Contact me first, because when you go to a lawyer, they're giving you all of the basis of what they need, and that's stuff that I can help you get through. You need to gather your financials. You need to get your ducks in a row. You need to figure out a lot of things before you even walk into the door to an attorney. And if you do all of that right off the bat, you're spending. I mean, money after, it's just going out the window. So the best part is coming to somebody to help you get that together. And then once that's together, that's half of it. The other part is getting your emotions together, because the minute you start to get emotions involved, that's where the money really starts to add up. So if we can harness your emotions, get the business part taken care of, take the emotions out of it, it's going to save you thousands right there also.
Yeah, because it's hard to navigate, and it's not something that most people have been through before.
Oh no, and you're not even yourself. You don't remember anything. You have brain fog. You're not sure what's going on, what day it is. I mean, it's a complete nightmare to go through, and it's one of the most traumatic times in your life. And people don't understand that if you've never been through it. But if you've been through it, and if whether it's been amicable or not,
Mine
it's
was
hard.
a delight.
Yeah, right. Yes, I'm sure it was. And it's hard because it's hard when you are somebody who, you have to wake up and look perky every day, and you have to put on a happy face for your kids, and you have to put a happy face on for your job, and underneath it all, you're really losing your mind. You're sulking, you're in a fetal position crying, not that you were, but
Thank you.
some people do.
I never hit the fetal position. Thank you very much.
Yeah, but it is. I mean, you just don't know what you're going to do. You don't know how you're going to react to things either. So I always say, if your soon-to-be ex texts you or calls you and you're having some kind of conflict, before you react to it or before you call your attorney, talk to me first. Let's figure out how to put this in check and get a perspective on it before we start spending thousands of dollars going through the attorneys fighting back and forth over something.
Thousands and thousands
Yeah.
and thousands of dollars.
And sometimes it's fighting over the littlest things because it's so emotional,
Yeah.
Is that your armoire or is it mine? Is it, who's going to take the kids more often? 50-50 seems to be the big thing that they want to do, but 50-50 always isn't a reality because if you have somebody who works shift work, if you have somebody who's out of town a lot, so those all have to be, navigated and negotiated. And really, divorce is a negotiation, the whole thing. And you're going to look at this person that you've been married to your whole entire life and think, who are you? And how did I just spend all these years with you? And now you've become a person who's just, some are just vengeful, some are taking revenge out, some are, I was even told I was having somebody follow me. Like, it was just crazy, the things that you go through and you hear. I can write a book, which I'm going to, I always say.
I hope you do.
Yeah, so it's a lot.
And, that's why I think your role coming in is I have friends, like now that I've been through all of that I have, who are going through similar, not the same, but very similar situations, which I'm like, pony up your poker face.
Yeah.
I was like, you cannot feed into what she's going through.
Right.
Like, you can't just feed into it because it'll just keep escalating. You
Right.
just have to kind of.
Well, everybody's divorce is different. And that's the thing.
Divorce is different.
Everybody calls and they just want a clear-cut answer. And I said, there isn't. I need to know specifics. I need to know. It's different if you have a house, if you have kids, if you have property, if you own a business, if there's a pension. These all play into it. And those are all negotiating chips, honestly. People say 50-50, but it's not. There's negotiation that you can do. And that's where the attorneys come in. But I help you figure out what you want and what you need and what you're not going to settle for.
Well, and there's tons of questions.
Oh,
like, as somebody who
endless.
has not gone through, anything like that,
Yeah.
there's a million questions
Right.
that I had, and each question you ask your attorney is very, very expensive.
Yeah.
So having somebody who's, not attorney, they're more, I think, attorneys, and they're great. Like, I
love attorneys.
My attorney's wonderful.
Yeah.
But there is so many little things that if
Yeah.
it depends on the attorney. Some attorneys are really nice and let you ask a few questions. Others are like, well,
Some
you
are-
asked a question, here's a bill.
Yeah,
So you have
right.
to be very careful with that as well. But having you on their side to kind of navigate those little things rather than
Yeah.
having to turn to the bigger things, the filing and all of that stuff.
Right. Well, my attorney even said to me, who's one of my friends now because we've spent so much time together, she said to me, I don't want to deal with the emotions. I'm an attorney. I don't deal with emotions. I deal with facts. And you can tell me your story, which is definitely what I have people do, but your attorney's going to hear your story, but they're going to cut out anything emotional, and they're going to just say, okay, I can prove this I can work with, this I can't work with. And that's the part that people don't get. When you're telling the story to your attorney, they're literally only hearing the parts that they can use for it. They care, but the emotional part is
black and white.
It's much more black and white for them.
Than it is.
Yeah. And if they absorbed everybody's story, they wouldn't be good at their job. You know, they have to keep the facts straight. I'm the person who deals with the emotions and helps you find the facts that we can give to the attorney, if that makes sense.
That does.
Yeah.
And so now you're doing this done system.
So it's the done method. Really, when you go through divorce, you have no idea, right? Like, where do I start? So I created this done method, which is the first thing you have to do is decide what you want to do. If you're going to do this, how are we going to do this? What do you want? And what can you negotiate with? The next thing is own it. Like, okay, I'm going to go through this. Now here's what I have to do. And then after that, it's navigating. Who do I call? Where do I turn to? How do we figure out, all the logistics around it? And once you do, that's the big process, the logistics and going through the legal aspect of it. But then everybody thinks that's the hardest part, but the hardest part is now moving past it and learning how to navigate your life, figuring out who you are. Because you were always a we. Your mom, your dad, you're we, you're a husband, you're a wife. And the problem is now you have to figure out, like, where am I?
To you.
How do I get back to you? Who am I? Where am I?
It is you. It's not like you have your kids, but you have to get you
right
so you can take care of them.
Right, 100%. And I do therapy with families. I'm an early interventionist for birth to 3, and I work with families, so I understand what they go through on many levels, especially working with kids. And it's not easy. It's hard enough just being a parent, let alone trying to go through a divorce. And the thing we want to protect the most is the kids,
Absolutely.
Right? Like, how are the kids going to get through this? I always tell my kids, I say, you know what, save it for your therapist, because I try to do everything I can, and sometimes it's good enough, and sometimes it's not, because I'm still trying to take care of myself along the way. And when you try to get your kids help, if your other, the the counterpart, if they don't agree to it, then you are fighting another battle. And getting them help is a big thing. And if they're going to fight with you on that, then where does that leave your child? They're just sitting there wondering, am I going to be loved by both? Am I going to, most of them aren't sitting there thinking, woohoo, 2 Christmases. Like, that's what my kids said. They're like, Mom, we have 2 Christmases. And I was like, okay, that's cute. But deep down inside, they don't feel that.
They're blocking. So.
Yeah. So then the last part is the elevate. Let's elevate yourself. Let's figure out who you are. Let's prepare for your new life. That's where my travel concept comes in. So I am I coined the phrase divorce or travel therapy. I did a lot of traveling during my divorce and prior to, because that's how I learned to get through it, get past it, seeing the world, seeing other people have things worse, different parts of the world. And I started Divorce and Ready to Travel diaries. And this is my next phase, where I'm taking the people who've gone through the divorce, and now we're going to travel, see the world, and we're going to learn who we are in other people's, eyes, meeting people in this group, creating a community around us. And then hopefully these are the people we start to travel with and start to create a new life with.
Yeah, and I think that's important, because sometimes you're so stuck in everything that getting away and being with like-minded people really makes you hone in on that, like, this isn't the end of the world. Like, there's life after divorce. Yeah. So, I think travel is one of the best things, especially those going through now doing split custody. Mm-hmm. You have this extra time, and at first you don't know what to do with that. You're like, I'm going to do my kids' laundry.
Right.
Like I'm just going to, I'm going to prepare the kids
I don't
everything.
know what to do. What do I do?
What do I do?
Yeah.
Like I feel like Jennifer Lawrence. Like, what do I do?
Right? You do. You literally feel like that for a while, and
But
you're
then
very
is it-
depressed about it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it becomes liberating, and now you realize
Now you're like,
I have me time.
I have me time. And that takes a long time because you have guilt that you're not spending all the time with your kids that you want to. So you kind of like just do for them while they're gone until
Right.
one day you're like, okay, well, I can go on a trip. It's
yeah,
okay.
it's okay,
It's
right?
okay.
You have to let yourself
Yeah.
be okay with it.
Yeah.
And you can go with people, go with friends, go with family.
Or you can go with you.
I could go with myself, so I enjoy doing solo traveling. The concept to that is just, if you want to do it, just go do it. Book
I
a
love
trip.
that.
And so far I've been to Alaska and Egypt, and many other places along the way that weren't necessarily solo. But the solo concept is, like the idea of it is just go off, meet new people. A lot of the people going through solo travel are people who are divorced or have lost loved ones or are just, just never were in a relationship and they just want to go off and see the world on their own and they don't need anybody to go with them. Solo traveling is expensive if you do it through different like travel companies.
Sure.
So there's certain
If you
companies.
do it like on your own.
If
yeah.
you do it on your own, certain companies actually have solo traveling, and that is what I'm hoping to team up with. It's in the works for next year to start doing solo trips and incorporating my divorce coaching along with it. So hopefully, fingers crossed, the spring we're supposed to do Tuscany with the divorced and ready to travel group, and then in the fall we're thinking Greece. So yeah.
Wow.
So, and this is for people who are, thinking of going through a divorce, or trying to navigate after a divorce. Anything along there. It's funny because I have people who are married and they're like, I want to go. Just because they know I like to travel and I'm always trying to think of new and fun, exciting things. So it's going to be, we're going to tier it. Right now it's going to be just women. Then we're going to do one for men. Then we're going to have one where we're going to have the women and men.
Ooh.
And then we're going to start to
Oh.
do a little matchmaking along the way. Matchmaker, right?
That's not the first time I've sang that song on here.
Well,
It's funny.
so
Like our theme song.
right. Well, so this is a process that I'm hoping, like my goal is to build this travel business so that it's incorporating people going through divorce, but also people then finding new people to
love
spend
it.
their life with and then travel, because now
Or at
you're
least
still
have a nice vacation with somebody.
well, right, but everybody's coming from the same perspective. They've all been through the trauma. They've all been through.
And it is nice. I mean, being around other people who are divorced, getting divorced, like it's a whole different world.
Yeah.
So like having those like-minded and be like, oh yeah, I've been through that.
Right.
Oh, here's
Right.
Like,
It takes the pressure off because you don't want to have to re-explain yourself to people who are happily married. And I love the people who are happily married and
Yes,
can
we do.
stay happily married.
You're like the unicorn.
Yeah, they are now. And
That's sad to say.
the other thing is too is like for my age, not your age because you're still younger, but you're talking the where there starts to become this gray divorce where after a certain age people are now learning that they don't need to stay in this marriage. Their kids are grown, they're out of the house, and they are just saying, I don't need to deal with it anymore. Like it's my time. And this is when they're starting to initiate divorce. And usually at the age between 44 and 55, it's women who initiate the divorce at that point. It's also because of hormonal, imbalances that I'm learning so much about right now. And like having the hormonal aspect to it for women, men don't understand what's going on. They just think you're crazy. And they, that's where, problems start to happen in the relationship. But getting the hormone levels in check along the way can help things also, where you might not decide to get divorced and you might actually like your husband. And
Is this
or
about
your wife.
like, the hormonal imbalance? Is this when the husbands and wives start sleeping in the separate rooms?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, sometimes it keeps marriages alive, they say, but my parents always slept in separate rooms. So
I don't think my grandparents slept in separate rooms.
well, they all did then. And I think the big thing now with our generation, and I think it's more Generation X, right? So it's my generation, is we don't have to put up with it anymore. We don't have to be unhappy. We don't have to put up with abuse. We don't have to put up with just doing what we're told. We know that there's options out there, and sadly, divorce is an option. And going through COVID, I mean, the people who were actually stuck together and they really figured out if they liked each other or they didn't. So the divorce rate became very high after.
Astronomical.
Very high, yeah. And that's understandable because, you know, if you've got a husband or a wife that's traveling all the time, you don't have to work them into your schedule. Now they're there all the time. They're messing up your schedule. They're messing up your flow. And then the fighting, the arguments start, resentments.
One of my girlfriends, they had worked out of the office and had, you know, it was a COVID divorce, and she's out of state, but those two working in the same house for a year. I was like, I could see imploding.
Right.
Like they were both gaining weight and they were both kind of miserable. So, I mean, it's sad, and they have a little.
A lot of people drinking then too. You had a little alcohol, because you didn't know how to pass the time.
Well, and you were scared too.
You were terrified.
Yeah.
You didn't know if it was going to be the end. Like really, you did go through this moment.
Going, oh no.
Right.
This doesn't look good.
Right. So that was traumatic on top of it. And now add a little abuse, right? Add some verbal abuse, emotional abuse, financial abuse. Any type of abuse that is added into that is only going to escalate it. And people know they don't have to put up with it anymore. And so get help, find help, go to a therapist. I'm not a marriage counselor. I'm not a marriage therapist. I'm helping you get through a specific time in your life, which is the divorce part, before, during, and after. But you need other mental health professionals to go through this. And that mental health is
I like the I'm done part, because you do say, I'm sure a lot of marriages go, I'm done.
Yeah.
And that's when they're done. But that's just the beginning.
Right.
So that's
100%.
just the beginning of the divorce journey. So before you go, I'm done, like that line right there is when you should already be working with you to figure out how to be done.
Right. Well,
although it's very emotional. That's the harder part.
Well, and I always say, I did, I'm done. Now what? Right? Like, what do I do? Where do I go? And it's a process. It's not an easy one, and you should not do it alone. You talk to your family and friends. The problem is when you're talking to them and they've not been through it, they're giving you bad advice. Because they're either coming at it from a religious aspect, they're coming at it from a family aspect, they're coming at it from a friend's aspect, and they just don't really want to be in the middle. So that starts to wear thin after a while. And this is what I've had people tell me, like, I can't talk to my friends anymore, I can't talk to my family. And I just had a client who, she said, I've been the only person that she has gone through this with, and that's actually given her some clear perspective on it, because everybody else was telling her not to do it. Don't get divorced. Like, it's not worth it. And I said, I always tell people, like, don't settle for anything, but if it's not worth the fight, I will tell you it's not worth the fight. If you clearly know that you are okay with the things that are negotiated to during this, you don't have to fight. There doesn't have to be a fight in it. She was afraid to just walk away because she was afraid of what people were going to think of her. She got the majority of what she wanted. She did not want to keep fighting. She didn't want to keep putting the family through it. And she did. She just walked away, and she said, "You're the only person that's ever told me that." And I say, I know people think I just get people divorced, but I don't. I've actually kept people together prior to, because they need to figure out really if this is what they want to do. But I've also helped people not have to put up the fight the whole entire time. So there's so many different people, which means different divorces, which means different problems, which means different attorneys. That's the other thing. Don't just pick one attorney out of the blue because they have great reviews.
No.
Every situation is different, and if you pick the wrong one...
I had a few that were not so great.
Yeah. So
you ended up with mine. So she was a breath of fresh air. She still is.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Sometimes you go through some attorneys that are not bad, but just not the right ones for you. And when you do that, then all of a sudden you just spent a lot of money.
Money in the wrong way.
Yeah, and then you have to start all over again. So I try to help you figure out who the right attorney is before I send you off to a few to take a look at.
Well, I mean, it's a lot.
It
but
is.
You will get through to the other side.
Right, and divorce is not a swear word. I think that's my biggest stance is divorce is not a swear word. What it really is fear. You are completely afraid of the unknown and what's going to happen and who you're going to become and what's going to happen to the kids.
Yeah.
And when you harness that fear and take this done method that I was talking about, right? Like, let's simplify it. When you harness it, you figure it out and you have answers to it. That knowledge is power. And then you now have control of the situation as opposed to where I was completely out of control. I had no idea. And my goal is to never let anybody go through it alone.
Yeah. I mean, that's the hardest part.
Yeah.
'Cause people are here and they don't have family. They move for a job, or they're here and they don't have anybody to rely on, and they don't have that person. Like, the people around them are probably, they met them at the school.
Right.
I mean, I can't tell you how hard it is just navigating the school systems as a divorcee.
Oh,
Because
wow,
the one
yeah.
parent gets, the days of the week, they get the paperwork. So then you have to figure out what paperwork could they have sent home.
Right.
It becomes a thing.
Right.
Because then you're always tracking things down.
Yeah, and that's part of the process too, right? So it's not just the divorce, it's the co-parenting after, which is what I help with as well. So let's figure out what the schedule is. Okay, now we know what days you're going with which parent, but who's taking care of what? Who's taking care of the doctor's appointments? Who's taking care of the school activities, running them to sports? Those are all things that once you get through the nightmare of divorce, now you have to figure out the co-parenting
Which changes
road.
year over year.
Which changes
all the time.
Yeah, sometimes it changes. If you've got people, mine was on shift work, so it changed. Schedules changed constantly. So things had to keep getting renegotiated or moved around. And if people aren't willing to do
Flexibility
it,
is big on that, but not everybody is flexible,
right?
as we know.
And some people are flexible; they just choose not to be.
Yeah.
And because they enjoy the conflict, and that's scary. But it happens, and that's why a lawyer's, that's why people sometimes are hundreds of thousands of dollars into divorce.
I can believe it.
Yeah.
So what do you have coming up?
So I have my Divorce Ready to Travel retreat in November 7th, 8th, and 9th. That is in Stonewall Resort in West Virginia. The lovely Kim Gable is going to come and speak.
Kim Gable.
The two-time Emmy Award-winning Kim Gable. I like to always say that for her. She's going to come. She's going to talk about how to retell your story, because she's an amazing storyteller. She's an amazing journalist. So I said, well, let's have everybody bring their story and let's learn how to tell a new story. Yeah. So she's going to teach us how to tell a new story. And then I have Tanya Cheney, who is going to work on the traumatic part. She's going to work on helping get us grounded, helping to move past the fear of the unknown and start to get us geared towards where we go from here. I have some people that I'm excited to talk to that are coming to the retreat, and I had somebody who's actually bought it as a gift for one of their family members because they just see them as so lost. They don't know what they don't know what they're going to do. They're worried for them, so they're hoping this is a big turnaround to help them move past it. Because the bottom line is you're divorced. You might not have wanted it, right? You might have initiated it, but regardless, where do I go from here? And that's what I want these divorce retreats to be.
I don't think one person ever gets married going, I want to get divorced one day.
Right.
Like, that was not the goal.
Right.
I wouldn't have done that.
Yes. And sadly, I mean, it's haphazard of the job. You see people get married and you're very happy for them, but in the back of your mind, you're like, I hope they have a prenup. I hope they figure things out along the way. I think that's the other part that's missing, right? People get so worried about preparing for a wedding that they don't prepare for a divorce. Yeah. So somebody needs to teach them, and I hate to say it, but we took home ec, right, to learn how to run a household
and budget,
but nobody teaches us on the other side, like, how do I do this if I need to do it on my own? So I want to start doing things like that.
I think there should definitely be legal binding things in the beginning and the end.
Correct.
But you get married really young or younger.
Right. And nobody thinks they're going to go through it. Yeah, until you do. So it's not, I'm not thinking, negative about it all. I'm just thinking realistic with it.
Realistic.
So how do we prepare for it?
Well, I think most people coming out of divorce are like, wow, I wish I had that was more
That's what I hear everybody
amicable
say. I wish I had a divorce coach.
And like,
yeah, I wish I had a divorce coach. I wish I had a prenup. And it's just, you looking back on it now, you learn a lot. So take the advice from people who have gone through it, and take the advice of a divorce coach, because that's what my job is. That's more my mission, honestly. To help people not go through it. And my kids are older now. So the other aspect to what I want to do is start working with children who've gone through it, older children, because now they're looking at marriage and they're looking at it in a negative light. Yeah. So there's many facets to this.
Well, I think you're doing a great job, and you're connecting women, men, and helping them navigate their futures. I mean, that's really what you're doing. And like at the end of the day, at the end of their divorce, when you finally help them get through, like that has to be satisfying for your life as well as theirs. So
it is. And that's my big thing, is getting this retreat up and running, and getting it going. I still have openings for it. The retreat's going to be at Stonewall, and take advantage of the fact that there's somebody here, especially locally, who's willing to help you go through this and find your, next chapter in life. There's other people who are still going to do it on their own, who aren't aware of this. The best part is knowing when you need help and asking for it. And if you don't, you're going to have a lot more problems down the road all the way around. And I'm just trying to help avoid that.
Yeah, well, that's good.
Yeah.
And so how can somebody either get in touch with you for the retreat or get in touch with you for your services?
So I am www.divorcecoachmelissa.com. I'm on Facebook if you just put in Divorce Coach Melissa, or I'm done divorce coaching. And I'm on the radio show once a month on 100.1 The River Talk with Steve Novotny. And he is happily married, which makes it quite a show, because he looks at me, right, like I don't understand, and so it's it's nice bantering. It's nice bantering back and forth about it, right? And so I meet with him and we talk about it to bring it more out into the open and to make people realize, like, we need to talk about divorce. It's not something that you sweep under the rug.
Do you know the statistics on it now? It's like 1 in 4, 1 in 3, 1 in 5.
It's still right around 40 to 50%, but what else I heard is the reason that it's kind of the divorces are not becoming as many is because some people aren't getting married also. So that's the other concept. And the statistics are so skewed. They're all over the place. Yeah. And every state's different. So those are things that I'm working on, just to find some more statistics on where, in which states and why, because if there's a why, let's figure out how to solve that problem so we can,
I agree.
Make sure that there's enough education out there to combat it or to solve it beforehand.
When you get married, you get a book that's like, or before
you
get
know,
married. Here's your book.
Right.
Here's how to navigate a
Right. Here's your happily divorced version,
like,
and here's your if I get divorced.
Like, just keep it back there.
You also need one if somebody passes away, right? Like if you've lost a loved one, it's still the grieving process. Divorce is a grieving process. And those are things that nobody prepares you for.
Well, you're here for that.
I'm trying.
So we will share out Melissa's information, so everybody, it'll be online, so you can follow her. Okay. And you have tons coming up, and you do so much for the Chamber. She's an ambassador. You won an award last year.
Yeah, I love the Chamber. This isn't just networking. Chamber. It's not just networking to me. Like, this is a community. I was raised in this community, and I feel like collaborating is my big thing. I love finding other people in the Chamber that I can work with. So,
and we love you. You collaborate so well with others, as well as giving so much time to us. And I know that you have things going on, and you're navigating, and you have all the things and kids and stuff. Yeah. So thank you so much for all that you're doing for us.
I enjoy it, and you do it very well. You run this whole aspect of what we need to do to help the community more, and you are just so open and loving. And that's why people gravitate towards you in this Chamber.
I try to help.
Yeah, you do a great job.
And I try to be there for whether somebody's going through a divorce while they're running their business too.
Right.
So.
And the board's amazing too. Like we've really been working hard at getting out there and talking to other people to make them understand that this is not a scary networking group. It's a community.
I hear we have the friendliest networkers, and that's what I like. I like that everybody comes in. You know, I am not the rigid woman in the tower.
Right.
I try to be open. I try to listen, put people together, and say you can have fun while you do business. Like we should be having a good time, getting to know one another, and building your business together.
Yep, which is then building the community around you. So.
Well, I like the Mr. Scary books. Is it?
Oh yeah,
Richard
I know what you
Scary?
mean. Yeah.
Yeah, that happy little town. So I try to make that happy little town.
Yeah,
and you're doing it. The news.
You're doing an amazing job, and I appreciate all that you do.
Thank you. Okay. Well, thanks so much.
Now that we've had a love fest.
We just had a love fest at the end. Everybody, stay tuned for our next love fest. Well, thank you so much for coming on today, and we'll be sharing this out shortly. Hopefully, we get a lot of people out to retreat, but if not, Tuscany, and if not, Greece.
Greece, yeah.
Where in Greece?
Then the year after that, we're looking at running 4 a year, so we're looking at doing 4 different places.
Well, when am I going to see you?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. So I'm figuring it out. Actually, in February, I'm hoping to do a local retreat here in Pittsburgh, pulling together a lot of the people that are in our chamber to help with the special needs of different people, and just having a great time teaching people about what they can use locally as far as resources as well, and how to navigate your divorce here in town.
Okay, good. Yeah. Well, we can't wait to see what you do next. Keep
it
up. You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for watching this episode of the Southwestern PA Business Podcast. I'm Mandy Pryor. Thank you to Melissa, I did, I'm done, for coming on today and sharing her stories, as well as sharing what you can go through whenever you're navigating a divorce. And we look forward to seeing you next time. Don't forget, voting is still open for the Excellence Awards, which are coming up on November 6th. And we will have our annual holiday luncheon, It's a Wonderful Lunch, coming up the second Tuesday in December. We look forward to seeing you at a networking event soon.